words. No, you're not gonna, you don't want to.
Test. All right, here we are. Welcome everybody who's tuning in or going to tune in or is going to get to see this when it gets shared around. Today is April 26, 24. April 26, 2024. It is day 1206 since January 6, 2021. And this is our weekly Friday night vigil in honor of the J6ers and their support. So as always, brief prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, please watch over the J6 families, especially the children, as they navigate through these times away from their loved ones, and as these men and women get transferred from one facility to the other, please make sure that Americans never forget. Can't say any more. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Here we are.
Here we are. So I don't have a whole lot of stuff prepared.
You have 9 new people at the Gulag.
You want to go ahead, Cheryl?
Hello? We have 9 new arrivals at the Gulag. Eric Warner, Ron Mell, Derek Kinnison, Felipe Martinez, Anthony Massanduno, Devin Rossman, Mark Warnick, Jerry Warnick, father and son, Jack Whitman. And then we're having sentencings coming up in May, and that will be John George, Todd III, May 10th, Andrew Taki, May 23rd at 10 a.m., the Azari, father and son, May 21st, sentencing at 12:30. Chris Quaglin, May 24th at 2:30. And then we go into June, but we don't need to talk about that yet.
Subject to change.
And where are you gathering that information, maybe just so people can learn how to get it on their own? Not only just the recent arrivals in the Gulag, but also where they can learn about the sentencings and the hearings.
That would be the uscourts.gov, and you can just search there for sentencings or hearings or a person's name, and it'll come up. There's a range that you could put in there. It'll come up with what you're looking for. If you want sentencings, it'll list all the sentencings. It'll sort it for you.
Could I borrow that for a moment? So this is on our website, right?
Yes.
Not that month, but yeah, that's coming up. Yeah.
So you can go to our website, which is northernneckpatriots.org, right up here in the top corner. And what Cheryl was just reading off of those things in the box, a lot of different things, how you can write to them, how you can find an inmate, the sentencings, and so on. So that's what I was trying to get out there, that it's great that Cheryl's pulled this all together in one place. I don't know anywhere else to find all that in one spot. So highly recommend going to our website and checking that out. But definitely.
And those links are clickable now, right? You could just go on there and clickable and
Well,
it'll take it.
Which links?
These.
No.
No.
They're not clickable, but they're still.
They're still,
You can copy
the
them.
links exist elsewhere on the site.
All right, good. Awesome. That's great. So I'm going to do this for a couple of reasons. Some people have cloudy memories as to the number of people that were in the Northern Neck Regional Jail. And this is maybe just a little reminder. And these are only the names that I know of, and I know that I've missed a few. So you guys can keep track here, but I think it's somewhere around 56. Howard Adams, Zach Alam, Eric Beauchene, Tim Boehner, Nick Brockhoff, Jeffrey Brown, Mason Corson, Lucas Denny, Israel Easterday, Brandon Fellows, Todd Gardner, James Grant, Matthew Green, Kenneth Harrelson, Albuquerque Head, Brian Jackson, Adam Jackson, Justin Jersey, David Judd, Cash Kelly, Hosea Kenyon, Nicholas Lagerand, Samuel Lazar, Marcus Malley, Mark Mazza, Patrick McCoy, Jonathan Mellis, Matthew Miller, Robert Morse, John Munafo, Daryl Neely, Ethan Nordine, William Norwood, Michael Perkins, Dominic Pizzola, Mark Ponder, Ronnie Presley, Mahila Pryor, Chris Quaglin, Barry Ramey, Zach Rayo, William Reed, Howard Richardson, Thomas Robertson, Daniel Rodriguez, Jeffrey Sable, Ryan Samsel, Ronald Sandlin, Troy Sargent, Jeffrey Sills, Andrew Taki, Enrique Tario, Curtis Tate, Ricky Wilden, Shane Woods, and Kyle Young. Were you counting? 56, something like that.
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah.
About 56.
Yeah, right.
And again, that's just a reminder. These are the individuals that we know went through the Northern Neck Regional Jail. Most of them we were providing commissary for once we learned that they were here, helping them out with their commissary. And some were in and out before we knew it, and some came through very, very briefly. I think one of the last ones was there for something like 4 hours. So anyway, again, those were the individuals who went through Northern Neck Regional Jail. For anybody who doesn't know what Northern Neck Regional Jail is, it sits in Richmond County. It's just outside the town of Warsaw. Very innocuous looking little sign out front, right next to the Welcome to Warsaw sign, and sits back, kind of hidden behind the pines back there. It's a 500 inmate facility, 495, something like that. Their average census, when we started taking paying attention to what was going on there, they were somewhere plus 400, so they usually are in that 400 to 450 range. They take federal prisoners, they take state incarcerated prisoners, so it's not just like a normal jail. Let me back up. It's a regional jail. It serves 4 counties and the town of Warsaw. Those 4 counties are Richmond County, Northumberland County, Westmoreland County. No, Gloucester.
That's it.
Gloucester County, and then the town of Warsaw. So I think Essex has their own facility out there somewhere that they go to. But again, it's had very high profile people because somewhere along the line, the Northern Neck Regional Jail Board realized, probably early on, maybe even, that there was money to be made by housing federal inmates and working with the U.S. Marshals. And they get a fairly significant per diem, which is their daily payment that they get. And so the average cost to house a prisoner there, though, is way less than that they get. So it's a money-making revenue thing. So you look like you're ready to say something.
I was just going to point out that they have had some superstars come through there. Paul Manafort went through there and did his time, sort of, whatever little time he had to do. But yeah, there's been some high-profile stuff come through here.
Chris Rock, Al-Qaeda terrorists.
Oh yeah, and militarily trained illegal migrants, newcomers.
So they're known as a place that is not afraid to take the probably roughest characters that there are, and it's also known as a place where they send people to break them. This who came through there and others that we've gotten to know over time who were local. Now think about this. If you're unfortunate enough for whatever reason to end up in the county lockup for a night, for a week, for a month, on weekends, whatever, that's in and of itself, it's a whole series of things to deal with financially, the stigma of it, all of it. And yet, a pretty severe place where you're going to have gang members, and you're going to have racial fights, and you're going to have all kinds of different things with these people that are hardcore criminals that are serving serious time. So yeah, the J6ers have brought out a whole lot of issues that are rampant in our country. The criminal justice system in general, with the Department of Justice, as we've seen through the cases of these guys being tried, and the sentences, and the two-tiered system of justice. But our incarceration system, our criminal, I keep wanting to say criminal justice, but our incarceration system is a mess in this country. We have the highest per capita percentage of incarcerated people in the entire developed world, and Virginia is the top in the United States.
What do you say, 31% of adults, 28% of children have an adult parent incarcerated, something along those lines? Isn't that the numbers?
Well, that's Taylor Jonatakis talks that one, I think, right, Cheryl?
Yeah.
He puts those facts out. I never did ask him where he got them, but he seems to know them pretty clearly. But let's just say 30% are somehow impacted by people in jail. Yep, it's a business.
And as Tom was pointing out, they get paid per diem by the day for these people, and they get to cut corners so that they can make a profit. Because you go to a board meeting for the jail, and that's the metric that they use for their success. They don't talk about anything other than the money. Show me the money. What's the bottom line? Oh, we're ahead $2 million the last couple of months, and we're going to get some more money from these grants because we got an opioid problem in the jails. And it's all about the money. They never worry about being in debt.
Also, if they label you as a criminal, they get less money, but if they label you as a terrorist, like a J6er is a terrorist, they get more money. So they like to label you as a terrorist so they can get the maximum money for you.
All right, you're gonna have to back that one up. I haven't heard that one anywhere. Where's that one come from?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you, but it makes perfect sense. I'd have to look it up, but I have heard it before, so I'll have to look it up.
It'd be nice if we could figure out a little bit more on exactly how they charge differently. I think I had seen it at one point what the federal rate was versus the county rate, but I didn't think it designated between what your crime was.
Well, I think, just follow me here. I can't back it up with anything, but just follow some reasoning here. It is easier to take care of a first grader than it is to ride herd over a 13-year-old. And if you've got somebody who's in for petty theft versus somebody who's in for terrorism, it's going to cost you more to control the guy that's in for terrorism than it is the guy for petty theft. Just a theory of mine. But again, we need to dig into this topic and bring some light to it. The bigger problem is that they, in all cases, and it doesn't matter if you treat a human being like an animal, when you release them, they're going to be an animal. That's the other part. Well, there's many other parts, but you know.
Well, that's a whole nother rabbit hole, which is where's the programs to really help people in jail. I want to say something real quick before I forget. Ava, thank you for joining us, and yeah. If I skipped them, Israel Easter Day is on our list, and but thanks for tuning in, and yeah, check out our website.
He's on there.
Yeah, I might have just skipped over one. And then, I'm not going to be at the board meeting next week. I don't know if you guys are planning to go or not, but the jail board meets every first Thursday of the month, or at least they did. Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month.
They change it in July.
Are they? They're going to go to what? What do they change it to?
Third.
Okay. So anyway, that's a good question to ask them: is where are they at with religious services, and what about the community reentry programs, and what's going on with that? But COVID was the excuse. ever since we started this whole thing. Because of COVID, you can't do this. Because of COVID, you can't have in-person visitation. Because of COVID, because of COVID.
It's pretty bad when bureaucracies throw the victim card. We couldn't because of COVID. We couldn't. Our hands were tied. We couldn't.
Didn't we see that? Did you see something that? I'm gonna have to look it up, but I thought one of the guys I just saw was home. Had just gotten home. Harrelson, maybe?
Oh,
Kenneth Harrelson, is he home now? I think I saw something on X, a photo of him and his wife, first week
Yes,
home or something.
just recently, yes.
That's cool. That's
Cheryl's
cool.
going to pull up his name right now.
We need to certainly, you know, give a shout out to those people that they finally get through this mess, and then again, commissary and how we did that. But you know, there's plenty of ways to support these people, and yeah, thank you for pulling that up. That is, yes, Kenneth Harrelson, retired Army Sergeant Kenneth Harrelson. You want to put it up there? Put it on the phone. Yeah. But there's so many ways that these people, you know, think about the PTSD that they're dealing with coming out of this whole freaking event.
Oh, that's got to be nuts. That's going to shake somebody's trust. I know if I was coming out and I had gone through what they've gone through, I think I'd go find a hole to sit in for a little while, because I don't think I'd be trusting anybody.
Well, not trusting the system, that's for sure, and their attorneys and everything else. So nothing, you know, there's some great attorneys out there working for the J6ers, but there's so many horror stories of people that really just didn't do anything. Part of it is because of the system they're working in as well, which is the whole DC justice system.
This negotiation, these plea deals, that's a whole game, isn't it? I mean, say, well, you're all you got to do is give up somebody else or whatever, and we'll make your deal look so sweet that you'll just take it and you'll do your time and get out, and they end up getting screwed.
Well, and
without a trial.
And that's what several of the folks that we follow, you know, they tried to do the same thing. They tried to get them to turn evidence against others. I mean, that's the whole thing that they did when they rounded them all up. And they got some to do this and say this or that, and so did that or whatever. But, you know, basically what we see with any of their sentencing, the judge makes it sound like because a few of them pled guilty to a couple of minor crimes, that therefore he's taking that into consideration as he slams the most maximum sentence down on top of them at the end anyway.
For misdemeanors.
For misdemeanors. So along those lines of sentencing, Julie Kelly, today at 9:10 a.m., Julie Kelly, her handle on X is @Julie_Kelly, Kelly 2. She is probably one of the very first people who immediately started very heavy into it the entire time. So Julie Kelly,
She rocks.
she's awesome. So I really hope SCOTUS is paying attention to how DC judges are scheming to keep J6ers in prison on 1512C2 convictions if SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, reverses that charge in J6 cases. This order is not just a warning to the defendant involved, Larry Brock, a decorated military veteran with no criminal history, convicted of 1512C2 and 5 nonviolent misdemeanors, who successfully appealed an unlawful sentencing enhancement. It's a warning to all J6ers convicted of 1512C2 to not seek release. Do not seek the treasure. Do not seek release from jail. If SCOTUS reverses how the DOJ and federal judges, including this one, John Bates, applied the law, DOJ has already come up with a replacement enhancement to substitute the one overturned on appeal to apply as a defendant seek relief waiting for the SCOTUS opinion. Now, judges are warning they will take the extraordinary step of ordering prison time to be served consecutively, not concurrently at the same time, on low-level offenses. The ex-chief judge recently said ordering consecutive sentences on misdemeanors is not standard practice in DC court, but it could be considered in order to keep 1512C2 defendants in jail, even if that count drove excessive prison sentence. Absolutely shameless and lawless. And she goes on then to put into her thing a little excerpt from the case document. And by the way, all these case documents are easy to find for anybody. You just go ahead and go into, the place I like to go is the NPR website. NPR, just do a search for NPR J6 every Friday. That's what I forgot to do, is to download that today and see. I knew I was missing something, just to see what they had to say, because they always give you the latest arrest. So it's been 5 or 6 a week here of late, although this first quarter was even heavier quarter. January and February was they had some weeks with up to 20 people being arrested still for January 6th. Anyway, that's kind of covers that. I've got one other probably non-related but important thing that I'd like for everybody who listens to this podcast and shares it. I've given shout outs many times to Virginia Medical Freedom Alliance. Please go to their website, which is vamfa.org, and they've got a petition out there to stop the WHO pandemic treaty and international health regulations. It's a petition to the governor, Glenn Youngkin, and the Attorney General, Jason Myers. On May 27th, 2024, not too long from now, the World Health Organization will vote on the International Pandemic Treaty and international health regulations. If this treaty and amendment regulations are passed, all citizens within the Commonwealth of Virginia, within any state, pandemic treaty and international health regulations, all citizens of the Commonwealth will lose their sovereignty. Let that sink in. All citizens will lose their sovereignty because these regulations can and will mandate vaccines, mandate medications, and gene therapy as the WHO deems necessary or appropriate for control of the population. For control of the population. That's an interesting way of putting that. These regulations can mandate central bank digital currency, digital ID, digital passports, and loss of religious freedom. These regulations include quarantines, loss of First Amendment based on the WHO, World Economic Forum, or multinational entity definitions of appropriate speech and communication, loss of Second Amendment based on the WHO entity need to enforce rules and regulations against the will of the people, and you will also lose protections afforded by the 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people, not the World Health Organization. Healthcare decisions are the products of states, not the federal government or an international organization or agency. Loss of due process, 14th Amendment.
So this is from the NPR website. Oops.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press. Your current balance is $92.01. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring. Link.
Hi. It's Northern Neck.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Hey, what's going on, Patriots? How are we today?
What are you up to there,
Hey,
Chris?
We're doing great.
Yeah, y'all threw me off. I didn't answer, and I was like, hello?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I've smoked to Tom for the past what, year, but I'm not saying that a different change of voice isn't welcome, but it threw me off. I didn't know if I had called Northern Neck Patriots or if I called another Northern Neck Patriot. It was like, oh, they're calling me. I'm listening on YouTube right now, but he's calling me.
Oh, glad we made you laugh.
You know, Tom and I only do have one number apart from each other. All right, y'all. How you doing?
Good. Doing great.
Who was I speaking to, Tom?
That's Cheryl. You know,
Oh, Carol?
Cheryl, yeah.
Cheryl Johnson.
Cheryl.
The Cheryl Johnson.
Oh, Cheryl Johnson. Oh, I don't know you at all. You've done nothing for me so far.
Oh, yeah? We got to talk about that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are an angel sent from heaven. Everyone who doesn't know, just don't shut it, please. Sorry, I'm talking to Thea. Thank you. Cheryl Johnson, ADB, and he threw me off. Cheryl Johnson wrote the 24-page document that went out that the judge cannot deny. And because it was said off of the vigil, now the judge can't deny it because our prosecutors were so smart, they had to say some things that I allegedly said that Ryan Riley actually wrote down on his Twitter feed, but then the government went ahead and said, oh, we know he said this for a fact, where in reality there were other people on my feed as well, so everything doesn't match up exactly, and they're caught red-handed. But now it gave Cheryl the go-ahead, or gave my lawyer the go-ahead to feed on the record the 24-page document. So thank you so much, Cheryl, for doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'd be without y'all, honestly. And thank you, Cheryl, for your letter that you just sent me not too long ago. I just got it now. With everything color coded, it was idiot proof, as I call it. And we love things that are idiot proof, color coded, and you know, and it. As a foreman electrician, I'm used to doing multi-million-dollar jobs. You're always not dealing with the brightest of bunch, but even when you are dealing with bright bunches, it's easiest if you just color code it and just say, here you go, goodbye, and because you can hand it off to someone with half a brain, and then they can hand it off to other people with another half a brain, or a quarter of a brain, and then you can just be like, here you go, it's idiot proof. You can't screw it up. Thank you so much. I love you. I never met you, but I love you. Thank you so much. I love the Northern Neck Patriots. I couldn't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much for everything that you guys have done and continue to do. Thank you. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Not just from me, but from everyone who can't tell you thank you. For all the letters that you write, anyone listening, thank you. Okay?
Hey.
It's been a long 3 years.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, listen. One thing, Chris. I appreciate your free flowing, thanks, because it means a lot to us, because, that's why we're doing it. We're doing it for you guys. And so the fact that you appreciate it, that means a lot to us. So
it truly does. Yes, it truly does.
Without, and I don't want to, I know I'm coming in here with high spirits, at least, and listen, every time it's not like this, right? And I sometimes I put on a facade, and it is what it is. But listen, I mean, I don't want to get negative or down about the situation. But without y'all, like straight up, and without exaggeration, without y'all, I probably would have had a sheet around my neck. All right? So I thank you. Thank you to Cheryl Johnson. Thank you to Ms. Pitts, Sherry Pitts. Thank you to Tom. Thank you to the other Johnson.
That's Maurice.
Thank you to just everyone. I'm not going to remember everyone. Thank you for writing me a letter, and I'm horrible at replying to them. By the way, Sherry Pitts, I just replied to your letter, and I feel like such a TOS, and it was a really, really important one. Kyle, I found yours. But I had a stamp on it even, and there was one that had your name on it, and it was probably from like 4 months ago, and I never put it in the mailbox. I'm a piece of crap. Like, I really am. I'm a piece of crap when it comes to this. Like, I'm so bad at it, and if I do, like, I'm so, y'all know I have ADD. Like, it's not hard to see, and I'm
you're a little bit on the spectrum.
I got so much stuff going on, and one would think that, oh, well, he's in jail. Like, I try to keep myself as busy as possible and trying to help everyone else coming in here, and I just try to do the best that I can, because it keeps my mind off of the constant shit that is my life. So everyone's letter that I've ever received, if I received it, I read it. I promise you. I'm looking at the murmurs. I don't think that they listen to on here, but I have 3 or 4 of their things up here. Hardship often prepares an ordinary person from an extraordinary destiny. C.S. Lewis, no matter how hard, you must tell yourself, no matter how hard it gets, I'm going to make it. Man in the Arena from Theodore Roosevelt.
Yes.
I have Chris, I'm a grandmother of 77 years, I'm a 77-year-old grandma I have 13 grandchildren. I'm adopting you as one of my grandsons. I never replied to that. I never replied to it. But it's on my wall. I read it. I read it weekly. The Armor of God. Hey, Quaglin, I'm a 68-year-old granny from Ohio. I'm so awe of you, no matter what they throw at you, you overcome, blah, 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 blah. I read all of it. Try to keep myself so busy, and sometimes I'm sorry, everything got thrown off. We had a DC discombulation. I can't even, I'm making up words. So I'm like Joe Biden here. We had a screw up, and everything got messed up. So now I'm with you guys. I was going to be with you guys and the DC jail, or the DC gulag at the same time. and then everything got screwed up, like literally like 5 minutes right before this. And you know how I get when I only planned it 24 hours ahead of time. Just saying DC jail, or DC, just saying DC Freedom Corner. Just saying. And then I'm told 10 minutes ahead of time, oh, by the way, so-and-so is calling in. Which, great, I would love that she calls in. I would also love to know about 10 minutes before I set up my 24-hour-long plan. So, anyway.
Hey, that's how it works. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's how it works. And we'll deal with it, and we're going to go forward, and then that's it. I just wanted to say thank you to you guys. First thing, the tablets were messing up, and I also had a visit by beautiful patriots from New Jersey. Two separate groups of patriots from New Jersey. Just happenstance, because my usual guys who come from New Jersey, who see me once a month, because of things and people getting moved around and surprise, surprise, our case manager not doing her job and trying to do the bare minimum because she's lazy and she hates Trump supporters. We couldn't fit everyone in, so different groups had to get moved in with different people, and I'm so grateful that I met some new people, even though I miss seeing my old people, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
They become part of my family over the last 4 years. But I'm so grateful to all of y'all. I just wanted to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
You're welcome.
And I love all of you, and I can't wait to all have just, hey, listen, God willing, I just want to get out of here, but,
You think?
y'all know that, yeah. I mean, listen, I am great with having a scotch by a fireplace out in the wilderness of Virginia.
Oh,
and
we
just
got
saying,
you for
hey,
that.
can we go deer hunting?
Sure.
You know, and or a whiskey or a bourbon, or I don't care.
How
I'll
about a
take
little
wine, I
each?
don't care.
How about
And
a
then,
little
well, listen, hey, yeah, I love y'all, and I just wanted to say thank you. And I have been through the ringer. Y'all know I have been, but if it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't have made it.
I believe that.
I mean that. So,
All right, well,
So thank you.
we're not going anywhere either for as long as it takes, you know that.
That's it. And I know you're not, and I just thank you.
Yeah.
With that being said,
You have 1 minute remaining.
left.
Perfect.
I actually did want to say how crazy it's getting and how bad it's just every 4 years, George Soros is throwing another riot. You know, it's not quite, they realize that they can't go riot this time because they went riot with January 5th. Funny how that works.
Uh-huh.
And these little kids aren't ready to go full scale riot, right?
No,
They're ready to do it.
No.
And guess what? I think the African American population is too smart for this anymore.
I think you're
They're
right.
sick and tired of it.
Yep.
I think it's the beginning of the end, and they're just preying on Trump getting indicted and charged on cases. So with that being said, I mean, God.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
He didn't make it past Gertie.
Nope. I was gonna ask him about Ralph.
Yeah.
Well, Ralph's casket is in the bag.
Yeah.
So, Ava, the website for Northern Neck Patriots is just, come on, focus. There it is. Northern necpatriotsalltogether.org. And as I said, this is the great piece of newsletter that Cheryl puts together. How often do you publish this?
So once a
Once a month.
All right.
And that one's not quite done, so it's not on the website, but last month's is, and it's got many of the same information.
We send it out on our monthly meeting day, so that we send it out to everybody on our monthly meeting day, which is the first Tuesday of the month. It's still in draft until the very last minute because we get so much information every day that I have to squeeze it in there. Like, for instance, we're having a couple of sentencings before the first Tuesday of the month, and that's going to be May 2nd. We have Ryan Nichols, Jack Whitten on May 2nd, and on May 3rd, we have Joseph Hutchinson. So until I find out what their sentencings are going to be, it won't get posted into this newsletter. So, and I think the first Tuesday of the month is like May, 7th or 6th or something like that. So we have time.
Hey, Gene, thanks for tuning in, and we miss you, but I know you're busy, so we understand. Everybody else who's tuning in, thank you too. Yeah, the 7th is our next meeting.
That was one of the better phone calls from Chris.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how they do that. I won't go into the details of what that is, but I'd like to know how they do that.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. So we do have to do an offline telephone call.
Yeah, well, if we get another chance to talk to him, we'll tell him that, so remind me if I don't say it, but.
About the stuff I talked to you about.
Yeah.
Didn't want to bring it up now because I don't want to be the center of the whole conversation.
Is this, I don't know where I came across this. This was Chris's,
I recognize
filed
that
in
today.
August of 22. So you didn't have anything to do with any of this. This is stuff, but that's what he's talking about. The letter that you wrote up.
That's not it.
I know it's not it, but I'm saying, he just said that it's getting on the record. So I think we need to check and see what he's talking
Probably
about.
getting that case updated, because there's, what do we have, 70 some files that are associated with that case, 1154. There's a bunch of them in the boxes.
Yeah.
And
We did
so
this
we know
today.
that case is all him. You can go look it all up. But that's what I think he was saying when he wanted to have that 24 pages entered into the record for this case.
Yeah, I think you're right. So we need to pull up his information and look at it again, because I think he's saying it's in there. I mean, so that's good. That's great. And
I think it's awesome.
yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
That, this microphone's picking up a lot of noise. Well,
Well, she just turned it off,
what's off? This?
the microphone.
Whenever we move anything around.
Better.
Better.
Do the drums and it'd be really.
My baby's got rhythm.
All right. What else? What do you got there? You want to talk about that? What's that?
Those are four of the guys. No, you know more about it.
Do I?
Those are four of the guys that just entered the gulag this week.
Oh.
Well, let's talk about something.
Okay.
So I was fortunate to be in Washington, D.C. I'm afraid I can't even imagine I said that. I was fortunate to be in Washington, D.C. When that was last week, not this past week, but the week before, when the House had whistleblower hearing with the National Guard. And if you all haven't heard about that, you definitely need to check it out. And this is where 4 individuals who were part of the National Guard, I don't have their names written down here in front of me, but for one of them, this was pretty interesting testimony, and it basically indicated that everything that the January 6th Select Committee from a while back, the Unselect Committee, the one-sided slanted Hollywood Production Committee, not the committee now that's looking into January 6th, really. They basically ignored everything that Captain Timothy Nick and the 3 other officials said and testified to, which was that President Trump did indeed have a request in for 10,000 National Guard troops. It never got past the Department of the Army to allow that order to come on down and get those troops deployed. Even after the clashes started to happen at the Capitol on January 6th at 1:30 or so in the afternoon, and so there was a lag of 3 hours and 17 minutes that National Guard group sat ready to go. And in fact, the National Guard from New Jersey was the first one to arrive on scene. So again, go check it out, the National Guard whistleblower hearing. You can look up this individual's name, Captain Timothy Nick. I have the others. If I can find them, I'll get their names listed too.
I listened to some of that testimony, and the guy was.
Yeah, use that one probably.
I was listening to some of that testimony, and the guy was really kind of frustrated. He said, because they were ready, but he would send in his request for services, and whoever it was that he was talking to said, well, I'll have to send that up the chain. And whoever was at the top of the chain was out to lunch, literally. And so it would take hours for him to get back. By the time the Guard could have done anything, it was all but over. And so you got to kind of wonder sometimes how such a perfect storm of ineptitude can actually occur. Because there was so many steps along the way that this guy was talking about that said, everything just failed. All right, we'll get to it later.
Hello, this is a free call from
Oh, Tony.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this free call, this call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Tony, this is Cheryl from Northern Neck Patriots.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Good. Tom, Maurice, and I were here.
Excellent. Good. Thank you for receiving me. I appreciate it.
This is Tony from New York, right?
Hello?
I guess he didn't like me.
What's Tony's last name?
Maceduno. I guess he thought, well, I'm supposed to be talking to Tom.
The call's still on, so it must be on his end.
Tony, this is Northern Neck Vigil. Are you still there? Tony.
Here. Hello.
Hey, Tony, you're back.
Hello. I'm right here. Hello. Okay. Hi. How you?
We thought we lost you. I guess we
did again. You might have a bad connection. There you go.
Okay, we hear you again.
How about now?
Yep.
There we go. Can you hear me better?
Yep.
Okay, good. Hi. No, my name is last name is Martinez. Felipe Martinez. Felipe Antonio Martinez. My friend called me Tony.
Okay. Wrong Tony.
Well, great. So what's on your mind? How you doing?
I'm good, actually. I'm doing much better. I'm very grateful and appreciative of where I'm at now. It's not anything that I expected it to be. I think the first couple of days that we were waiting for them to accept us and all that is it's pretty hairy, you know? You know what to expect, you know, we're on our toes, but, you know, nothing's better than the adversary coming after you, problems coming at you to get you know, at the foot of the throne of God, you know? So, it's really been good. It's very chaotic in the beginning, but it really belongs to the Lord, and that's all I can say. Here with the J6 pod, with all the guys here, and I can't believe the kind of love that they're pouring on us. So they're out there supporting us, and, you know, in prayers, and just, you know, not forgetting about the guys that are here. You know, because I'm kind of new to this now. You know, it's the first time being incarcerated in any kind of way. But a lot of these guys have been here for a long time, and I just want to say thank you for them. You guys, your treasures are truly being built and stored up in heaven, and whatever you're doing, as hard as it is, I don't know what kind of cross you guys are carrying on your end. Don't stop. Don't ever stop. Do not leave the line. Stay and hold the course. Stay where you're at, because they need you. They really, really need you. Yes. And we will never back down, ever, for walking, doing what we're allowed to do, not only by law, but by nature. And we need that support. We absolutely need that support. And again, even if it's a call, a thank you, a virtual hug, whatever it is. Again, I'm new to this, but I see what's going on, and I just want to say thank you for the guys that have been here a lot longer than I have. Please keep going.
Well, we're happy to do it, Tony, and tell us a little bit more about where have you been before this? I mean, when were you arrested, and whatever you want to share, just tell us a little bit more.
Well, February 18th of 2021, I was, my family and I were woken by flashbang grenades. The funny thing is that the night before, the guys there in my area, we would get together for a Thursday night Christian martial arts ministry, and we get together and train and just, you know, do whatever, you know, popped in our heads, and just had a lot of fun with it. And I just finished telling the guys, because of everything that happened on, you know, January 6th, I just told the guys, you know, I'm actually feeling better. I'm not waking up in the middle of the night, or when the dog growls, or when the next door neighbor, you know, starts his car or whatever. You know, I told them last night I had my first peaceful sleep, and then that very next morning, kabing, kabang, kaboom, and there's just a sound outside of the siren that I'd never heard before. My dog's barking, chaos everywhere. I'm on my feet, in my underwear, running to the front door, still not awake. And as soon as I get to the door, more flashbang grenades outside. I'm seeing silhouettes. You can see men or women in tactical gear because of the flashbang on the side of my house. At that point, I realized they had already ripped off my screen door, and they're telling me to open up the front door. If not, they're going to rip it off. And you know, about that point, I woke up and I said, "Okay, let's open this up, because if they're going to take me away, at least I'm not leaving a big hole for my family to have to deal with."
Right.
So I opened the door, and it was insane. The chaos that happened after that. They handcuffed my 13-year-old daughter at the time, handcuffed myself, my wife at the time, handcuffed her also, and it's treated us like criminals. You know, I've never, ever, ever had any kind of criminal history in my life, other than speeding. So, you know, I took what am I going to do? You know, I got a battery ram ready to bash inside of my house. Got drones and then got about, my neighbors told me there's about 100 agents in the front, 100 guys, SWAT team members in the front of my house. So what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I had to make sure my children didn't lose their dad, and none of my family got abused more than we're already getting abused. So, That's kind of how it started.
Wow.
They let us go. They didn't even charge us. Nothing happened. It wasn't until the middle of June that I got a call from one of the FBI agents that had interviewed myself, and he said I need you to show up to the marshal's office there in Riverside County, California, and I need you to self-surrender. If you do this quickly, we'll get you home by tonight. We're not going to keep you. I told him, well, guess what? I'm in Austin, Texas right now. I had to go on the road to find work. What do you want me to do? So they ended up having me self-surrender, not surrender, but turn myself in so I could get indicted there in Austin. It was a quick thing. It was enough time for me to get back to work. Everything was good. But, again, being chained up, being locked up, okay, no human being can prepare themselves for that.
Right.
Be treated like animals, below what we were created to be. And it's not a big deal, right? I mean, compared to what the rest of these guys are dealing with. Believe me, I'm not a victim to this, I'm just giving you an experience. It wasn't until, they kept postponing the trial, postponing. That was in June. It wasn't until last year, October 12th, 2023, when the sentencing or the trial finally began. Very strange. I sat there and like to observe things. Very, very strange how everything started, how it went on, and how it ended. It didn't seem right. To this day, it doesn't seem right. And to tell you, all this started with the calling from God, where that President Trump had called his supporters to do this. I remember telling the guys on a Thursday night, I said, I feel a call to head to DC. I think we need to go. And I think we need to do what we need to do also. Protecting the family, protecting the soft target. And we need to go there and stand in whatever danger comes their way. And if they coming after them, they got to come through us. And which is what we had done all of the summer of 2020, all throughout Southern California with the rallies and protests and all that. People, never had a knuckle up with anybody. God. But that's what we did, and that's why we went. And so, through the trial, I felt, okay, God, this is what you called me to do. This is what you want me to do. This is what you want me to take.
Hey, Tony.
How they're going, how they're acting, how they're doing.
Hey, Tony.
Yes, sir.
Tony. Sorry.
Yes, sir. I'm right here.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, do you have like a headset or something? Because it's crackling a lot. Maybe it's not plugged in correctly or something.
How about now? Can you hear it better?
Yeah.
Much
better
better.
now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll stop talking with my hands. How about that? I think that's going on moving around talking with my hands. So, going through it all, just observing how the system works. What you see on TV, everything, all the good guys win all the time, right? And the bad guys always lose.
Right.
Not this case. Not this case. It's very strange. It's very heartbreaking, to tell you the truth. Very heartbreaking. Because I love my country. Because I love the philosophy that this country was based on. This country was only based on the Judeo-Christian worldview, period. Because there's no other major philosophy out there that gives you human rights, gives you unalienable rights that are given to us by a creator. Naturalism cannot share the same space as human rights. It cannot. Natural selection and human rights cannot share the same space. Islam cannot share the same space as Judeo-Christianity because the philosophy that is a very fatalistic philosophy. Allah wills it. There's no guarantee of salvation. It just is because Allah wills it. You talk about pantheism. You have over 400 million gods and the 400 different philosophies. So how can you define an unalienable right? Only the Judeo-Christian worldview gives us unalienable rights, and why? Not just the arbitrary or college of the human rights because I feel it to do so. No. God makes the rules, and He's given us a prescription. He told us what is and what isn't. And I love my country because I love my God and I love His Word. And I love my country because there's so much to say about it, right?
Yeah.
So I felt compelled to serve my country and to serve the people, my people, our peers, to come against my other peers that were coming against them, not the police. The police are not my peers. They're above my pay grade. Not the senators. They're above my pay grade. This whole thing where they try to make me something or try to make us something that we're coming against them is, it's almost like it's a compliment. You actually think I'm that smart. You actually think I'm that strong. You actually think I'm that capable that you're gonna fear me behind a guarded marbled brick wall? Okay, I guess. I don't know. So that's the whole reason why we're in the position we're in right now. And I think most of the guys that are here that I talked to in a few days that I've been here in this pod are the same way, you know. And but I tell you, we're just saying it 10 minutes ago. I regret nothing. Nothing. I would do it all over again because I did nothing. I've done nothing. But the system is what it is, and that's why it's heartbreaking.
You're a true patriot.
Well, I would point out that collectively, what you guys have shown the rest of the country as far as what's broken about our system, I can't think of anything that has been going on for the last 3 years that demonstrates more just how broken we've let our system get, and we need to fix it. And that's because of you guys. You guys showed us. So, yes. Were you able to hear that?
Yes.
Yes, I did. I heard it.
Okay, good.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Does I have 1 minute left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we owe you a debt, my friend.
I love you guys. I don't know you, and I probably never see your face, but I'll see you in heaven. And all those that are out there supporting, I don't know you either. We don't know you. But we're going to celebrate at the foot of God. We're going to celebrate, and we're going to be together, and we're going to see why all this pain was worth it. There's always a price to pay. Our founding fathers paid with their lives. They paid with their reputation, with their fortunes, and their families. And we're doing the same thing. Because we're all called to God, to this work, whatever it is, whether it's out there or here, we're all called to the same call. Stay the course. Do not stop, please.
We
I
won't.
love you.
We won't.
I love you, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you,
for
Tony.
calling.
Thank you, Tony. God bless you.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
All right, that's the first time we've spoken to him, right,
Yes.
Tony?
I hope
Yes.
he
He just arrived there yesterday.
So, sounds like it was October 12th of last year when he was tried, and then probably it sounds like he was out and working and able to move around freely. We got to get his background, unless you have it, Cheryl, and what his actual charges were. I'd be interested to see
No, all I
that.
know is he's from California.
You might speak a little bit.
All I know is that he's from California, and according to the records, his sentencing date was April 19th, and his arrest date was June 9th, 2021.
Okay, Ava says it's Felipe Martinez, not Tony, but isn't Tony in his name somewhere?
He says he goes by Tony.
Okay.
Felipe Martinez, 389323 is his booking number.
Okay. Ava's got a lot in here. Let me see what she's got in here. Hey, Lindy. Felipe, okay. Felipe was in the movie about J6, Heartbreaking What Is Happening to These Good Men. Yep, indeed.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from An inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse, 33 cents. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Scott, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and just so you know, this is David Geeson talking.
Oh, okay.
And you may have seen me recently on Fox News or Yahoo or whatever because I was sentenced a few days ago. And I got 6 years, and I don't know, I might have to print out some of those quotes from some of the articles and hang them up on my wall in the future.
Yeah.
6
I
years.
like the one where they said I disregard the law and live by my own moral code. I might get that on a biker's jacket or something, you know?
You could sell that, I think.
Yeah.
I'd buy it.
Yeah, your sentence, was it Friday? Was it last Friday?
It's actually Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday this week? Okay.
How did your strategies go that you were talking about last week?
Oh, the strategies?
Yeah.
Well, they worked wonderfully. But unfortunately, and they were about to let me go home. You know, I even had to get out of jail free card and everything. You know, but then they said, "Oh crap! You know, the day is not divisible by 7. 6 years. You know, it was buried. You know, it's a law buried deep in some code book somewhere. You know, in a footnote." Actually, a footnote of a footnote, and it's one of the founding principles our nation is built upon. So, not much I can do about that one.
That's wow.
6 years.
So, Kevin, I didn't get their last name, and unfortunately, I didn't get his wife's name. They told me, like Kevin and his wonderful wife came to visit me today, so I'd like to thank them for that. I'd like to thank Lily for showing up to the trial. I believe there was one other political supporter who I've not learned the name yet of, who is also in the gallery. And whoever's been donating the money to my commissary account, which I've not figured out who that is yet, thank you so much. I don't know if it's one person or multiple people, but thank you to whoever's been doing that. I really appreciate that. So do you guys have any questions or anything?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, so 6 years, how about fines? Did they hit you with?
Fines?
Yeah.
Yeah, $710.
Huh.
And also, I think $2,000, but for some reason they're considered separate or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like maybe there's like a different payment schedule or something, but both amounts.
I've seen
And,
that. I've seen that $2,000 amount, and I think that relates back to the overall damage results
door.
to the what's the Columbus door
Yeah.
or something, and overall it was $2 billion worth of damage they claimed, right, or 2 million? I don't remember which, but 2 million.
Right. Do you think it's legal if I pay them back all in pennies? Do you think that'll work? Like, you think they'll ask me to stop paying it back if I just do it? You know,
Well, you've got
painstakingly.
You got an interesting question there. Years ago, I heard an argument that said that if you owe somebody money and you try to pay it and they refuse it, then the debt is considered paid. So
Interesting.
So if the pennies get you there,
Give it a try.
I'll find like the dirtiest pennies I can find too. I'll like pick them up from like a Walmart parking lot covered in oil. And
yeah, that'll work. So yeah. So what has your road done for you? I mean, from start to today, where have you been geographically? The places that they've stored your 98.6 degree warm body at.
Oh yeah, it's not as interesting as some people's stories, you know. But first, I went to a courthouse in Durham. Then I got moved to the Durham County Jail. Then I got moved to Northern Neck for a very short stint, and then I got moved up to here. And definitely, you know, people-wise and you know, mood-wise and whatnot, definitely this has been the best place out of the three. Yeah, I would not recommend being in the Durham County Jail in the winter. It's cold as hell in there. It's horrible.
A little nipply, yeah, I'm sure.
Very, very, very cold. But yeah, I don't know, not super interesting, unfortunately.
Well,
I
look-
could make up a few extra stops. You know, like I went to Mars for a little bit. There was a cryogenic freezing period, so of course they had to send me to a lab on Earth.
That's just funny. And that's awesome that you can actually keep your humor about you through all of this.
Yes, they tried. They years off my sentence telling me to stop making jokes, and it didn't work.
Well, you needed to swing a bigger joke hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't decide if they should take off ones or add on ones, you know, as like a threat, you know, positive or negative reinforcement.
Well-
So
well,
maybe it just balanced out.
Dance around the enhancements and, you know, before you're sitting there patiently waiting for the news. What do you think of that whole process?
Oh, are you talking about in the courtroom or?
Yeah, right, right.
Well, the answer is that I'm kind of stupid when it comes to the legal system. I'm a little bit ignorant about the inner workings of it. I don't know. I mean, like I kind of trusted my lawyer's advice on like how they were handling the you know, pre-sentencing report and the calculation of guideline points and whatnot. And I don't know. I unfortunately to say, I guess I'm just kind of dumb on that.
Well, the reason I asked is I've seen a couple of those myself, and to me it just feels like it's this preordained dance that they do to somehow or other try to justify what the end result's going to be, what they're about ready to hand down. You know, like they deliberated, they thought about it a lot. They took this, they thought about that, they thought about this. This adds points, this takes points away. In the end,
Yeah,
you know,
it seems kind of very arbitrary, to be honest. Like, very complex and arbitrary.
right.
Yep. Nothing like reading the recipe to the meal before you put it in the oven. That's
Yeah,
what the outcome
yeah.
is. That's,
David, did you
There's
have did you have
lots of arguments based on wording, surprisingly. I mean, not surprising. I mean, it's lawyers and, you know, it's court or whatever. But lots and lots and lots of arguments based on very specific wording of ordinances going back and forth. That was one thing that kind of, you know, I watched.
Huh.
And said, you know, I like sentences that are about, you know, 8 words long is what I was thinking, you know?
Right. Do you have 1512C2 in your charges?
I do not.
All right.
I do not.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter necessarily to you, but what we're hearing is that the judges are going to come up with enhancements or go back and apply consecutive sentences to people to get the same result anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah, they're talking about resentencing people.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's kind of bogus. Sounds kind of like a little bit of a waste of time, but
Sounds dystopian to
I don't
me.
know.
It's pretty rough. It's not the way
Yeah.
this country is supposed to work, I don't think.
yeah. I apologize if I'm coming off a little bit aloof tonight. I apologize. I'm, you know, not exactly in the expert speaker mode right now.
Oh, it's quite all right.
Not that I
We're-
think anybody's expecting me to be.
No, we're here to support you. It's a blessing when you're in your groove, but we're here to support you.
Thank you. I always appreciate it. Once again, you know, I always appreciate everything all the supporters do and whatnot because, you know, I don't know. I think it matters, and I think it matters, you know, like here in the short term and here in the long term. You know, talking yada 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 about prison reform as I always do in every single conversation where this comes up.
Yeah.
You know, and
You know, we've already heard.
because what's up?
We've already heard, though, that the January 6ers have impacted prisoners in other locations because you all have brought
Yeah.
an awareness to things. And so I've heard that story over and over again.
Yes, yeah. There were some of the older dogs who were in here, you know. They were talking about one event where when
I'm gonna butcher the story here horribly because this was not something I was here for and something I've only heard secondhand. It was something years ago where they were protesting basically for like being allowed out of their cells for a longer amount of time because they're keeping locked up for just absurd lengths of time. That was honestly really inhuman. And when they had successfully petitioned for it, like time outside their cell inside this jail pod, they actually affected the rest of the prison. So every single time for a short bit, when they were passing the other jail pods, like hallway or whatnot, they would say, hey, thanks guys, you guys got that for us, you're changing shit here, and things of that nature.
Uh-huh. Yeah. How about Northern Neck? You said briefly. How long were you here?
Oh, I mean, when I say brief, I mean it was like literally one day.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm really thankful about that because everything I've heard about that place, I'm kind of glad that I was not there longer because it sounds like a pretty rough, horrible place.
Well, yeah, horrible anyway. Yeah, for sure. I mean, everything we've heard. Yeah, okay. So I do remember that. Was that this year you were in and out, or was that sometime last year?
No, it was this year. It would have been this year.
Okay, so I think you may be the last one that we know of that went through there, but if you meet anybody else who says they came through after you, let us know.
Yeah. And that way, if anybody ever is like the Northern Neck veterans or whatever, I'll just technically be able to slide into that group, get like a cool medal or something, just very technically.
Hey, you did your time. Yeah.
Well, hey, we're counting you on our list, man. I'm going to be saying your name every Friday night from now on, just when I read the roster.
That's a good thing.
Thank you.
That's absolutely a good
Hey guys,
thing.
I think I'm going to go ahead and get the next person on here.
All right.
We got some new people at the pod recently. They're from California, I believe. And they seem pretty nice so far. I've talked with a few of them, and they seem like pretty cool dudes. Yes, I don't know, most of the people that come through here are usually pretty cool, which is just a nice theme about this pod. Anyway, once again, thank you guys so much. I always appreciate it, and thank you for letting me yammer and ramble publicly.
Happy to talk to you. Thanks a lot.
And you guys have a good day. Thank
All
you.
right.
You too.
God bless you.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
So I guess the people who talk, we don't, they say, it's not necessarily the people that's gonna be on the line. That's 2 for 2.
Yeah. Good point, Cheryl. I get us. When you listen and it says Scott Miller, it turns out to be somebody completely else. We get that with Scooter a lot as well, because I think it may be that they're sharing tablets to call out is what it is.
Set up
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he was the comedian, I recall, with that plan. I'm glad you remembered that, with his strategy to go in there and do everything that he turn the courtroom upside down. Remember, he said he was going to sit out in the gallery, and I could, or somebody could sit up in his place.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure they'll be fine with that.
All right.
Somebody's calling.
Totally writing names down now, they.
Hello.
Maybe not be.
An inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, your current balance is $88.87. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello.
Hey, Patriots, this is not quite, well, it is quite, but I'm going to pass you off. Hold on 1 second. There was the misstep with phones and whatever. So anyway, here you go. Hold on, new Patriot, 3%.
That's another 3%.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey,
Hi.
how you doing? Who are we talking to?
I'm blessed, man. This is Ronald Mealy. previously from Southern California, but I escaped and moved to Texas 2 years ago.
Good for you. I grew up in California and I escaped as well several years ago.
Yeah.
So, how has your journey been? Where all have you been?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you?
No, I can monitor the call. Still on.
Are you still there?
Is there anybody out there?
Hey, Ronald.
We can't hear you, so if you could hear us, there's some technical difficulties on someone's end, maybe yours.
There we go.
We hear you now. Uh-oh. Can you hear me now? Hello? That's the
Is there a
second
problem
one.
with your headset or something?
Is it Quaglin's tablet?
I don't know. Hey, we're not hearing you. We're hearing a little bit of scratchiness. Huh.
Hey, Ron, we can't hear you. If you could hear us, there's a problem on your end, I think.
Huh.
So
Disturbing.
what should we do? Should we try calling back, or?
I mean, let's just let it go. It's cost $2, not even.
Yeah.
Right, so.
Yeah, but he might be talking and we don't hear him.
I think he'd hang up after a bit. I'm not gonna hang up. I'm just
Try to
gonna-
plug in your connections again, because maybe something's not connected right. Are you still
They're
there?
coming back again.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
That sounds better.
An inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility.
Both calls on.
To accept this call, press 0. To refuse, your current balance is $87.55. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello?
Hey, sorry about that, Tom. This is Ron Mealy.
Hey, you're back.
Yeah, good, good.
I went over to the payphone, so I'm trying to, these cords are really short in here, so I'll make it work.
Well, we could hear you now, so.
Sorry about all that. So, you mentioned California. I was just curious what part before we go.
Sacramento.
Oh, yeah. I opened that Winco up there. There was a long time ago. I was in the milk industry. I don't know if I told you guys this, but for 18 years, I was in a sales executive position with the largest dairy company in the United States, and ended up working for the largest cheese company in the world, managing 12 states.
Wow.
Before all this BS came up, and 54 years old, you think you're going to be at a part of your life where, all right, I'm going to take care of my wife, the kids. I got another good 10 years in me. I'm just going to put it away.
Uh-huh.
And then the J6 curveball comes, hits you right between the eyes.
Yeah.
It makes you kind of just shake your head.
It does, and that's putting it gently, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I recall those days vividly. I wasn't there at the grounds, but tracking everything that led up to it, and I recall not being able to sleep, watching everything happen, and I can't imagine that if you were there, that you were any less passionate than I was. So it had to be pretty horrendous for you.
Oh yeah, I mean, shocking, but humbling. You know, your life changes, everything changes.
Yep.
Um,
And I don't think we get to go back to the way it was.
No. Well,
Anyways,
thank God though, you know, we have support. You know, it starts with the family, it starts with our spouses. I can't ask for a better wife. Ellie is simply amazing, and she's struggling, you know, because I'm the breadwinner, and we knew this was coming, but we thought we were going to be able to self-surrender. I'm not going to get into too much detail about all the details, but they remanded us in custody that day, and they just say little planning was done.
right.
But kind of hard to have planning when you're making minimum wage.
Yeah.
And, you know, but your support, man, I mean, people are just coming forward that I never thought would. It makes me sit in here in these concrete walls and have peace, you know. And it's not just my faith giving me the peace, it's knowing that as a man, I know out there's help. And that is such a weight off like a man's shoulders when he's in this environment.
Oh, yeah.
I can only imagine what it would be like if you were in there completely by yourself. I can't even imagine it.
Guys, I mentioned it in another call, I think it was, but getting into this pod and having the welcome that we received, and I'm talking 3 years later. I mean, there were guys in here 3 years ago. I can't even imagine what they went through and all the transformation and changes that took place because of what they went through. I'm walking into something right here and I'm going, oh man, it's almost not fair.
I understand your
You
point.
know, it's not bad, but it's bad, you know?
Yeah, I did hear from some guys that a few guys were pulled out recently, a few weeks ago, and I heard one of them's response was he misses DC. And it probably has to do with the camaraderie, but also it sounds like it's worse in the place that he is now.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that when they leave here, then they go somewhere else. Like, who knows where I'm gonna go? Probably Bastrop, Texas. I don't really know, but people want to stay here. It's like a brotherhood. It's like a men's retreat, men's ministry. You know what I mean?
Yep. You get that. You get that brotherhood builds when you're all together like that in the circumstances y'all are in.
You become a family.
Yeah, and in our commissary, it won't come until next Friday. So, I mean, shower shoes, you know, deodorant, like regular stuff that we didn't really get when we checked in. And I checked in, it's like I'm at a hotel. Yeah, but just the basic necessities, you know what I mean? The food is terrible that they're feeding us. If I eat another soy meat something, I'm gonna puke.
Yeah.
But they're dumping commissary on us. You know, I want everybody's name and address because one day something's gonna come and break in my life, and I'm taking care of every single person that I've ever met in this place.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're gonna have a big freedom celebration when it's all over.
Right, and I kind of made a joke that we should go on a J6 cruise, but someone made a joke about, you know, about the Titanic too, so we don't want to do that. Get them all in one spot.
That's funny.
No, I'm joking, but we should all get together. I mean, I'll even put more ink on me, you know, I'll get a J6 tattoo. I want everybody, I want to remember these guys forever, this moment.
You know,
And like I said,
I think one of the things I noticed was that it didn't take long for 9/11 to kind of fade away a little bit, but I don't think this is going to fade away quite so easily as 9/11 did. I think the story behind January 6th, not just the day itself, but everything that happened afterwards, that's going to go on for a really long time. And there's enough material there that you can get all kinds of documentaries out of it.
Yes, sir.
It's going to go on for a
Yes,
while.
sir.
I mean, it's going to stay in the memory and the minds of Americans for a long time.
But we're gonna have to keep our eyes on the prize, though. We can't step aside from it. People like you doing what you're doing, and DC side, and everybody, it matters. There's so many people, just before my trial, or my sentencing, I'm talking to people about the DC Gulag, and guys have been in there, you know, for X amount of months, for years. There's still a large percentage of the population doesn't even know this is happening.
I know.
We know that.
Yep.
Yep. There's going to come a time when they won't be able to deny it, though.
Yeah, but you know what? We just got to keep our eyes, and this is what I tell people all the time. If you take your eyes off Jesus, just like when Simon was walking on the water, what happened when the wind was blowing and the waves are crashing on the boat? We got waves and wind blowing at us, out, you know, going for this moment. And when you take your eyes off them, you fall into that water and you drown. So that's my advice to anybody coming through this. Just keep your eyes on Jesus. We can't do it on our own. We gotta suffer patiently, and there's gonna be a reward for us. The truth will definitely come out. It will be exposed,
Yeah.
and we cannot be afraid of anything or anyone. That's Matthew 10 right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's so much tied to that. I can't explain it. And if I had to be humbled the last 3 years, to really grow closer to my Lord, and to help people and mentor people and speak to people at grocery stores, at gas stations, spreading the word, use me, you know?
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know if the people you know are going to be hearing this, but maybe someone needed to hear that.
Exactly.
Trust in Him. Seek Him. Don't rely on your own understanding. You know what I mean? Faith begins when understanding ends. So,
You got to have that.
yes, sir. And I don't know when we're going to get cut off, but I think you guys know more than me. But I'm just happy to be able to just say, hey, I'm Ronald Neely from California, and I haven't said my last name with my first name in about 2 years, because to get work, even in Texas, people Google you, and when they Google my name, I get ghosted. You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's hard, man. You know, it's hard. It just affects us from day one. It changes everything. It's not just going somewhere for 33 months and you're done. It's
gonna
prior, during, and after. You know?
Yeah.
Well, that's another area that we're going to need to work on. I mean, right now it's getting, you know, making sure you guys have what you need as you're going through this process. But you guys are coming home from war when this is over. You know, that's basically what it is. You've done your time in the trenches, but you're still carrying that stigma. We got to get that fixed. We got to get you vindicated is what we got to get done.
That is a good word, but you know what? I'm wearing all this as a badge of honor. You know what I mean? To be able to have our voice heard that day, and to deal with this with our head held high, and to keep our faith in what's happening, and not just lock ourselves up in our house smoking cigarettes with the blinds drawn. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We just get out there, and I couldn't do it before because my pretrial release told me I couldn't, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm sentenced already. And I'm going away for 3 years, it looks like. Unless things change this week or this month. Keep praying.
Don't you get credit for time already served, or whatever they call it?
I would imagine, but I don't really know. Nothing will surprise me. Just curveballs that have been thrown at us this whole process. Nothing will surprise me.
Yeah.
You know. But my wife, I don't know if you guys are throwing Gibson Go's out there.
Sure.
But she does have one to keep the lights on without having to burn furniture to stay warm.
What is your Gibson Go?
I believe it's just the Gibson Go address /Ellie, ELLY, and my last name, Mealy, M as in Michael, E-L-E. So Ellie Mealy.
All one word, or is there like an underscore or a dash in there or something?
Oh, I haven't personally seen it, but she told me it's / Ellie Mealy. So I'm sure if you search it,
We'll find it. We'll find it.
go Ellie, E-L-L-Y, she'll pop up.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Also, if they go by your booking number, which is 389321. So that's another way to
Yes,
get
ma'am.
money to them.
That would be great, but I don't know how long I'm gonna be here in DC, because they might transfer me out of here in 2 weeks, could be 6 weeks, could be 5 days, you know?
Yeah.
We don't know,
Yeah.
and,
And we know how that works too. Sometimes your money doesn't follow you as quickly as you go out the door.
yeah, but that Gibson Go is probably the best way to go.
Right.
There's been some support here to get me through the first couple of weeks, but I haven't even got my tablet yet, and that's gonna be $50 a week probably.
There's people on the live stream right now, Ronald, that are saying they love Ellie and you. So you must have some followers that are tuning in, that new names I haven't seen, and so that's good news, and probably thanks to your lovely wife.
Guys, you guys have no idea.
Do you have any children?
This woman, I tell you. Yeah, I have 2 bonus children. She has her children, which are basically my children.
Right.
Then they were 7 and 9. Now they're 16 and 19.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
yeah, one's in UT, going to University, Texas.
Great.
So yeah, man, there's stuff that I wanted to do for these kids. That for some reason you just gotta Control Alt Delete and reset.
Well, you've got a unique opportunity.
You have 1 minute remaining.
1 minute, guys.
You got a unique opportunity for those kids. You're showing them something, even if they don't know it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, they're watching. They see how their mothers love. They know how a man should be. You know what I mean? It's everything I could ever ask for. They've been watching.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Well, just know that you're not
Yeah.
alone, and there's a lot of people out there that know that you are a hero.
oh, thank you guys. You know what? And I'm taking care of it here. I have family in this place. Honestly.
Yep.
Stay there as long as you
I wouldn't know
can.
what I would do without this. Yeah. Well, I love everybody who's hearing this. Thank you so much for hearing my story.
Well, thank you for calling.
Look forward to talking to you again.
I hope so, guys. Thanks again.
All right, God bless you.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for using.
Well, it is because his payphone was kept down, I don't know, whatever, the payphone was lower than,
Yeah.
so we might have to turn things down again later.
We'll figure it out.
There was another call coming in at the same time.
Well, now we gotta wait because it's 8:43.
Already.
And if,
Imagine that.
if they call right now, we're gonna miss the anthem, so they have to wait a little bit.
And then I'm getting phone calls from people who know that we're on the vigil tonight, but didn't remember.
You know, I can name that person in 3 notes or less.
Right.
It's all right. Everybody forgets. All right. Hey, I'm just going to give a couple shout outs. Melissa, welcome. Vicky, James, Lisa's there. Mike, welcome. There's Gina, you're there. All right. James, well, awesome to see all these folks. Critical Thinker, good to see you there.
Got a call.
How did you know that?
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
An inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, your current balance is $86.74. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, Northern Neck Patriots. How are we doing tonight?
Doing good.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, guys? Am I hearing Tom and Cheryl
And Maurice, yes.
and Maurice? Okay, how's all you guys doing
We're
today?
doing good.
Good.
Right on.
So it's Scott, right?
This is really
Good.
Scott, right? This is-
Yes, yes.
It wasn't
I
Scott.
forgot to introduce myself.
No, that's all right. It announces it sometimes, but because you guys are sharing devices and things, that we get thrown off. So just wanted to make sure. Glad to hear your voice.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Did you guys have a good conversation with the new guy, Mr. Melee?
Yeah, seems like a great guy. He's very, very happy to be there with you guys. And I hear that story over and over again. We always, we hear how they come in there, you don't have the things that you need, and people are willing to give you what you need and get you through. So
Yeah.
that's a great
Yeah,
thing.
I always find it interesting when the new guys come in and they have kind of like a shell-shocked look on their faces from, whatever they've just been through, whether it was like sentencing or, being stuck down in the intake unit at the jail, whatever they've been through to get here. It's been rough for sure. So a lot of times they have kind of this dazed look on their face when they get in, and after about a day or so, they start to kind of relax and realize that they're amongst friends, and it's probably one of the safest prison units in the country. So it's kind of nice to see them be able to kind of lighten up as they get acclimated in here.
Right.
But yeah, it looked like Melee was getting into his conversation. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I saw him standing up and gesticulating a little bit, and I don't know, maybe if he stays here long enough, he's going to be the Quag 2.0. But
I don't know, that's a tough act to follow, man.
yeah, I don't think anybody can really replace Quagman, but
It's all right, he's good people.
yeah. So guys, our tablets have actually been down for like the past day and a half. So I've been kind of out of the loop. I don't know if you guys would mind if there's any headlines. I mean, I know the Supreme Court's been hearing a lot of oral arguments this week. I kind of wanted to ask you guys what if any news have I missed out on the past 24 to 48 hours?
Well,
anything big coming out of the Supreme Court or anything else?
Well, nothing really coming out, but there was a lot of good discussion at the Supreme Court regarding presidential immunity. Some of the justices were a little bit skeptical about it, not in a way that you would be disappointed, but they were talking about, where's the line between official acts and personal acts, and it's going to have some significant impacts regardless of which way they go. And you got to know that if they deny immunity to our boy Trump, then they're also denying it to everybody that came before him that's still breathing.
Yeah.
And
the problem becomes lawfare, right? I mean, you set a precedent where you start indicting former presidents, and then that's just something that's not going to stop. I mean,
exactly.
Right.
Every president that after he leaves office, he's going to be like, all right, who's gonna try and rope me into court? Who am I going to get indicted by? So yeah, it is a tough issue.
Well, and no better way to stalemate, action than, we need, part of the problem is we give presidents too much credit because that's where we've shifted it. People think that they are the ones that somehow control things, but they still do have the ability to set an agenda. And if you're going to get dragged through the courts after you've left office, you're probably going to keep your head down.
Or not run.
Right.
Or not
run. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, it's the head of the executive branch, so it has to be, the president has to be the most decisive, out of possibly anybody in government. So,
he's got to be able to react correctly.
Yeah, we don't want to have weak presidents who can't act, so.
Especially if the weakness is artificially imposed because somebody says that you're going to end up in court if you make a decision that I don't like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and and that's just inevitable to happen with just the way our society is right now in this country. We just have a huge tendency to, you know, especially the higher up the chain you go, you know, on the social economic ladder, you know, you start getting into those higher rungs of wealth and power. It's just, it seems like everybody's got some kind of court case going on against somebody else, or, you know, they're part of someone else's case, and you know, we have a little bit of I think a little bit of tendency to over litigate, right, and just kind of want to, you know, instead of solving our issues with another party directly, take it to the court, which, you know, I don't know if that's the best way for a society to be.
Well,
everybody to be worried about being you know, having a court case against them.
Yeah.
And I know, like I've been a little bit in the medical field in the past, the medical profession. And I remember, you know, a huge part of our job was just documentation and keeping records. And everybody always said, you know, CYA, cover your ass.
In capital letters.
You know, make sure that, yeah, in capital letters. Make sure you write your documentation in such a way as it can't come back to bite you if somebody wants to sue you later.
You know,
and that was just as an EMT, not as like a doctor or something. You know, that was just as an EMT. So
several decades ago, I myself was a paramedic out there in California, and
oh wow,
yeah. So I'm aware of those CYA documents, those reports that you fill out. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, every single patient that, you know, steps into your ambulance, even if it's just for 2 minutes, and then, you know, even if they decide they don't want to go to the hospital or something, you still got to fill out a file for them. So
yeah, and for 2 minutes worth of exposure, you're going to write on paper for about 40 minutes.
yeah, definitely could be. Yeah, so lots of paperwork and bureaucracy and just unnecessary noise with the way we have it now. I'd love to get back to simpler times, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Well,
probably not.
Well, listen, our last president, I think he set a goal of for every new regulation to remove one or two.
Yeah,
two. Yeah. But it was way more than that.
He ended up doing like 6 for every one that they added.
So I think that can be done, but we got to get the right guy.
Yeah.
Well, and you got to get the people behind it. And
right.
The question is, though, like everybody here on the phone is going to agree that we're behind it. We'd like to have simpler times, less government, smaller government. No government might even be okay sometimes.
Yeah.
But you know, there's still a lot of people out there that don't even know that there are J6 prisoners. They totally unaware. And to them, the price of eggs going up is just the natural course of things because things like this happen sometimes. So there's still some waking up that needs to happen out here on the civilian side.
Yeah. And there's also just a huge industry and just body of mass of people that are reliant on the federal government and all levels of government just being you know, inflated or whatever you want to call it, being you know, just totally redundant and unnecessary jobs and regulations, and there's millions of people whose livelihood depends on all that. And there's entire industries that depend on all that system and structure and everything, which is unfortunate because that, at the end of the day, doesn't create wealth. You know, private industry is what creates wealth.
Yes.
Government is just like an overhead cost. Government is just supposed to preserve the wealth that has been created, protect it from, you know, being damaged by other parties or what have you, and just to kind of help keep the machine running smoothly. You know. It doesn't at the end of the day tend to create anything useful or produce anything. And you know, that's why I get so frustrated when I hear, you know, on the radio this administration boasting about the economy and talking about jobs and stuff. And it's like you're artificially making the numbers look better by just, you know, signing laws to create more government jobs and spending more government money to keep this economy moving. It's
Right.
not actually productive activity that's going on. It's just more government activity.
Yeah.
Which is why people are still struggling at the end of the day. That's why inflation's not going anywhere. That's why our quality of life is, for the average American hasn't gotten any better. So I just hope in November we can make some changes to the government that sees it that way, and we can start to be productive again and get our country like producing again and moving forward again. But
There was an interesting discussion today about, okay, so we're gonna win in November, and then 4 years is gonna play out, and then what?
Yeah.
Then what? What do we do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think maybe the people need to figure out how to pick up the ball and carry it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, on some levels, I think there kind of needs to be like a paradigm shift in our whole society. I mean, I think our society is kind of devoid of like deep virtues, like the traditional Western values that made us great in the first place. I don't think those are really in play anymore. I think we're kind of our culture is in a place where it's a lot like just hedonism. People are just kind of trying to take what they could get, make sure I get mine before you get yours, and very short-sighted, myopic. So nobody can see the future, but I think it will probably take, unfortunately, some extended hardships in order to cause the changes culturally, the deep cultural fundamental changes that are required to set us on a more positive course for the long run.
I wanted to tell you, you made me think of something a minute ago when you were talking about the bloating and the growth of government. I've been watching General Flynn's movie. I've watched it twice now. It's just been out for a week or so. And I'd say that because I know you can't see it now, but we need to get everybody that's listening in here and spread it around. But when you listen to that story of what happened to him and how they came down on him and tried to crush him like a bug, and he fought through it, but it does explain everything we were talking about with the bloating and overgrowth of government and the fact that people don't really care to do their jobs. The issues of right and wrong, good versus evil, it's sort of like look the other way. So it ties exactly into what you were saying. And I would just say, everybody, General Flynn, go watch the movie. It's worth it. It's worth it, every bit of it.
Excellent. Yeah. I've seen pictures for it in here. I would love to be able to watch it. Hopefully I get the chance to someday. But you want to talk about feeling persecuted. I can relate to Mr. Flynn now. I mean, I don't know how bad they came down on him, but I know what they did to me and all of us other J6ers. It's rough. I mean, it's really crazy. I kind of thought that I would come out of this maybe having changed my views about the government and maybe compromising in some ways, but it felt like a whole different world, dealing with these people. And
You have 1 minute remaining.
oh, yeah, 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, I got to wrap it up because we're about to do the national anthem.
All right.
So, and our call's almost over anyway.
All right.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Yep, thank you guys. I love talking to you all as usual. I hope I get to talk to you all again.
You will.
Thank you all for the support. Good night. God bless.
Thanks, Scott.
Hopefully they'll call back. Otherwise, we'll sing by ourselves.
We should probably keep I can't keep, I don't see with the time. I don't wear a watch, so maybe we need
We can do that.
Bring a clock.
Well, just cut them off a little sooner.
Yeah.
Well, I think this one was caused by the shift that was imposed when we had that one phone call where it was bad, and then they had
Oh,
actually
they're not.
called back.
Yeah, they're not. Chris is he's got it laid out pretty well, but I don't know if he's got it down to the minute. It's like, who's calling who and when? Yeah. So Jacob, thanks for joining. Send my proud love to son, Ron Melee. So there you go. That's
nice.
cool.
Here we go.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse, your current balance is $85.42. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey guys, how are you?
All right.
Oh, hi, cool deal. It's Daniel Ball calling you tonight. Being slightly delayed on the anthem tonight, we're trying to get DT Vigil on as well to enjoy the anthem together, but seems to be having technical difficulties over there. Everybody doing all right out there tonight?
Yeah, we're doing great. Doing great.
Cool deal. Cool deal. What's news? Any good news?
I don't know. I think there's a lot more awareness going on, so I would say that much anyway. I don't know of any bombshells as of today, but yeah, things are starting to look up, I think, Daniel.
All right. Well, I like to hear. Yeah, I think so as well. That's what everybody seems to say on the outside. The Great Awakening is occurring still.
Agreed.
It is. Still has a ways to go, but we're seeing it.
Yes, sir. I think we're about to start the anthem here, folks. 2, 1. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose cross Christ and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were still gallantly streamed, and the rockets cracked there, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. USA! USA! USA!
That's awesome.
Sorry about that delay there.
Awesome.
So, what's the crowd looking out there tonight? You got a crowd out there?
You know, we got a small crowd here. There's just the three of us, but there's a big crowd online on the live stream, and great commentary, new people joining, and so that's good news. That's what we're trying to do.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, we'll thank all of you. Thank you. I love you all.
All right. Well, listen.
Really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for getting us in, and if you want to talk more, you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I suppose probably I got the flag on the tablet here. I'm tying it up here, but Thank you all so much. I love you. God bless you. God bless America. We'll talk again soon.
All right, good night. God bless you.
Thank you, David.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you for using Globe.
All right, thank you everybody for joining. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Spread it around.